Yo, what's up? I'm back with another predictions video. Melee, huh? God damn, we got some exciting playoff matches ahead of us. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Reinforce. If you don't know me, I don't know what you're doing here. About to chat some more Overwatch League. I had a good time last week. I really enjoyed chatting shit for like an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it was. With some chill music, so we're gonna do it again. See how it goes. Maybe we'll be as good as last week. Obviously, this video will hopefully be a bit shorter because this time around we only have, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches to predict. Compared to last week where it was like 20. But we'll do our best. Looking back at last week, we got all 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We got all 14 matches correct. And we don't talk about Sunday. We don't talk about Sunday because Sunday doesn't matter. Well, I guess it does kind of matter because we had Knockout Sunday. I didn't do these in my video last week because I actually didn't know they existed. I hadn't locked them in before they reopened them on Sunday or Saturday, sorry. So I just put these in on Sunday, and essentially I did what everyone else did. I put the Washington Justice in because I thought they'd beat Florida Mayhem or Toronto Defiant, and I put Shock in because I thought they would beat Fuel, and then I thought they'd get a revenge on Houston Outlaws. Now I did lock in Shock before they played Atlanta Reign. So after Shock's match against Atlanta Reign, I was obviously less confident in this Shock pick. So I was considering swapping to Outlaws, but I stuck with the Shock. Obviously, it was the Dallas Fuel. I don't think a lot of people had Dallas Fuel, so I don't really, I don't really care. I don't feel like I fell in the standings because I didn't pick the Dallas Fuel. You can't predict them all. Eastern region, I had Philadelphia Fusion to advance over the Shanghai Dragons, like a lot of people. Shanghai obviously impressed us a lot. I think it was a pretty poorly played match from Philadelphia Fusion, quite honestly. Obviously, it worked out for them when they went to Reinhardt maps on Eichenwalde and Havana, because that really suited their style, and Shanghai Dragons rush just wasn't good at all, quite frankly. But when it came to the other maps, just thought that Philadelphia played pretty poorly, to be honest. I didn't like their composition on Volskaya Industries. I thought they adapted poorly to Shanghai playing a lot of Mercy. And then you first saw some adaptations come into place when they started playing Ilios, when Mono and Carpe started being more aggressive, trying to get picks on Isayaki or on Lee Jae-gon, because they played, most of the time they played without a Brigitte, so it's pretty vulnerable. We'll get to that when we discuss Shanghai Dragons later on. But yeah, I was quite disappointed in Philadelphia Fusion, actually. It felt more like they weren't playing their best. Shanghai Dragons played up to the Philadelphia Fusion, but ultimately I think Fusion most days are a better team. I think they just messed up that matchup, so I was quite sad to get that one wrong. Then Chengdu over Seoul Dynasty. I just think they were the more solid pick from what we've seen so far. Reflecting on last week's Preds, obviously got all of them right. That mattered in a way. But let's take a look at the maps as well, because Washington Justice, Boston Uprising, let's kick it off here. I did say in the last video that I was planning to give Boston Uprising a map on King's Row, but I thought that they would be boomed being down 0-2 to Justice and not be able to get the map. That didn't happen. They won King's Row, so that was a 3-1 after all. Boston Uprising, London Spitfire. London Spitfire ended up winning one map. What map was that? I predicted them to win the Reinhardt comps. I'm just gonna look that up quick. But they won like Dorado or something? No. Boston Uprising. They won one surprising map. Yeah, I think it was Dorado. I didn't account for them winning Dorado. And so we ended up going to a 5th map, which I really wasn't comfortable with at all. I thought that London had the edge on Lijiang Tower because obviously you can play Reinhardt on Control Center. And you can also play Reinhardt on Night Market. But Boston Uprising won that one, so we got double points anyway for predicting it correctly. Shock, just steamrolling the Mayhem. I had that one because of the Reinhardt matchup. It went exactly as planned. Toronto, I predicted them to get one map, but Justice kind of stumped them. I was a bit disappointed with Toronto's compositions because they were playing a lot of dive, and then Blizzard World, they were playing the Lucio Moira comp, which I really didn't like at all. I think that they should put Lastro on a hero he excels at, so Zenyatta or Ana, and try to make that work. So that I gave them one map in that series, but they didn't get it. Florida Paris we got correctly. I gave 2 maps to London over Toronto Defiant because I thought that they would win the Reinhardt matchups. I thought they were really good maps for London Spitfire, but Toronto ended up getting the win. I thought London would perhaps win Havana. I think that was it. And then obviously I had Shock beating the Atlanta Reign 3-0, but Atlanta's Reinhardt comps were actually really good. So credit to the Atlanta Reign. I perhaps underestimated them. They looked pretty good overall, but then on the 5th map, you know, it just fell to pieces. Probably because they knew that they were out. Taking a look at the Eastern region. Guangzhou Charge, I had them beating the Valiant. Obviously it was a stomp. Valiant, it wasn't like really close at all. Which was a little bit surprising, I think. I thought Valiant could at least hang with them, but it didn't at all. So that's good to know going into future matchups. Gave 2 maps to New York Excelsior against Seoul Dynasty. Can't really remember what happened in that match, to be honest. But I thought New York Excelsior would be able to play a lot of McCree. And I thought Seoul would play a lot of dive. But Seoul is a more competent team than I think I expected them to be. They could play more than just dive compositions. They can play more than just gesture on the Winston. I worked that out. Had Shanghai Dragons beating the Spark. Seoul Dynasty beating the Valiant. And then I had Hangzhou beating Guangzhou as well. And Shai came out. He did the thing. I can't curse because I'm monetizing on YouTube, I suppose. But he did a thing. It was really good. Shanghai Dragons 3-0 New York Excelsior. Really happy I got double points on my correct map prediction, so 6 points for 3-0 there. So overall, a really good week. I'm really happy with that. I caught up to a lot of people on the leaderboards. The Sunday obviously didn't count. I got a lot of preds wrong on the broadcast, and I can go through them quickly. Essentially, Florida Mayhem beating the Toronto Defiant, I got that one. And then I was really close to predicting Dallas Fuel against Shock. Didn't go through with it because Shock is just like too respectable. I did put too much respect on Shock's name, especially after the series against the Atlanta Reign. I should have abandoned the Shock bandwagon and instead tried to rationalize looking at that matchup and gone with the Fuel perhaps. But I had a lot of respect for the San Francisco Shock. And then after that, I was boomed. I was fully boomed, especially when production started trolling me. Like I was so boomed. I was just emotionally unhinged for the rest of the day. So that really affected my preds. Washington Justice over Florida Mayhem. I still think, again, Washington Justice have the better team on paper. I just, again, think they played poorly. Because they were the higher seed, I think they get to select map. And they went to Oasis, which I didn't like at all, because they lost Garden, where Florida can play Rhino comps, and then Florida would just win University. I didn't account for that at all. Quite disappointed with that. It would have been interesting to see how the matchup would have been different if they played, say, Ilios, for example. I think that could have been better in Washington Justice favor. But yeah, it just didn't feel like it was Washington Justice. Dorado as well took so long. Took Washington Justice so long to attack on Dorado, and I mauled it quite a bit. So perhaps overestimated the Washington Justice a little bit. I think they're still really sick. DK is, you know, a phenomenal player. But they got some stuff to figure out, because that was honestly quite like a poor showing. So yeah, that was disappointing. I don't like when teams underperform like that, and it definitely felt like they were underperforming. And then the Houston Outlaws, Dallas Fuel match. I just stuck with Houston Outlaws because I was boomed at that point. And I considered the emotional outcome, because I was like, okay, I've already predicted Houston Outlaws. Could Dallas Fuel beat them? Yeah, they could. But am I going to be more boomed if I stay with the Houston Outlaws pred and I'm wrong? Or will I be more boomed if I last minute swap to Dallas Fuel and then I'm wrong by the Houston Outlaws winning. So I just stuck with my initial pred because I was like, I'll be boomed out of existence. It'll be like the Big Bang in terms of boomage if I swap to Dallas Fuel last minute and then I'm wrong about it. So I just stuck with the Houston Outlaws, and it is what it is. But very impressive to see Dallas Fuel's turnaround. Anyway, let's get into the melee. Thank you, music. Perfect transition. Shanghai Dragons against the Florida Mayhem. Interesting matchup. I did talk about Shanghai against the Philadelphia Fusion in the knockout rounds. No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did. But yeah, I did. It's been 10 minutes and I already forgot. I'm a moron. I think Philadelphia underperformed. And I think Shanghai were handed this matchup a little bit on a silver platter. The interesting thing, though, is what Shanghai Dragons are playing a lot of the time, because they're playing a lot of Zenyatta and Mercy. I'm gonna bring up this page for you just to showcase, and right now it says Dallas Fuel. We get the team and league usage stats up for you, and you can see for yourself where is Shanghai Dragons. There it is. So league usage for Mercy is 11.8%. But if you take a look at Legion, he plays 46% Mercy. So this is obviously a hero that they play quite a lot. I think this could be something that Florida Mayhem could abuse. We saw reluctance from the Shanghai Dragons to play a lot of Brigitte. That being said, Legion, he's a respectful Brig. I think he's a good Brig. So if he ends up playing it, it's fine. But it feels like a point where the Shanghai Dragons are vulnerable. You could play more aggressively. We could see Yaki go aggressive with OG playing the Echo or the Tracer. And that could really try to punish Legion playing this Mercy quite a lot. Now, Shanghai Dragons, they were primarily playing Mercy when they're playing against like solid compositions. So for example, when the new Philly were going to play something slow, like a Reinhardt composition or the Orisa composition of Oskaya, that's sort of when they brought out the Zen Mercy, because then you don't need the Brig to peel. So you can afford to play the Mercy with the damage boost and also the Valk, because you're not going to get chased around as much. And they also play quite a lot of Echo Mercy, which is interesting. So this is a favorite of the Shanghai Dragons, something they do a lot. But I think Florida Mayhem would be quite comfortable playing against Legigon's Mercy and try to punish that. Florida Mayhem is a smart team, and they've shown their versatility. So I think this could be a good matchup for the Florida Mayhem in the initial rounds. Florida Mayhem, I also think that they have the advantage in the Reinhardt matchup. So if they wanted to take this series to King's Row, Havana, obviously, Eichenwalde, they could take this series, those places, and for control maps, I mean, they could go to like, they could literally go to like Lijiang Tower, Nepal to Force Village, Oasis, like you name it. Like it's pretty, the control maps are pretty versatile right now. You can play a lot of different stuff. So if Florida Mayhem wants to take this matchup to the Reinhardt comps, they can, and I think they'd beat Shanghai in the Reinhardt comps. Or if they just wanted to play aggressive, if they wanted to punish Legigon's Mercy, I think they could also do that. Bold prediction, I think we're going to see checkmate this weekend. That's my bold prediction for this weekend again about the Florida Mayhem. I think we're going to see checkmate at some point, maybe just from map this weekend, and I'm really excited for that. So that's my wild bold prediction. I'm probably gonna save it for the broadcast as well. So hopefully Custa, Zoe, and Danny don't watch these videos. I think one of them does. Shit. Oh, I cursed. My monetization, it's gone. Anyway, let's get to it. Florida Mayhem, Shanghai Dragons. I think Florida Mayhem is upper seed. Are they? I don't actually know who selects this map here. I don't think it really matters though. I think in most scenarios that Florida Mayhem are going to win control. And then it gets interesting, because if you're Shanghai Dragons, where do you take them? I wonder what's the I didn't bother looking up what the game mode rotation is for this weekend, which is going to be quite important. I think last week was Assault. So that probably means that this week it's Hybrid. I wonder if I can find this quick. This is why I have music, by the way. I just jam out. Okay, I can't actually find it. That's a travesty. One last ditch effort. Someone's yelling at the computer right now. I'm sorry. I'm going to assume that it's hybrid. Okay. I'm gonna assume it's hybrid. Shanghai Dragons. What hybrid do you pick here? I think you pick Blizzard World. Probably. I'm not going to go through guessing all the maps. That's going to take up too much time. I think Florida Mayhem. I think. So here's the thing. What I'm also taking into account is the traveling aspect. I do think it's going to make a difference playing outside of your training, usual like boot camp, usual practice area kind of environment. I think that's going to affect both Dallas Fuel and the Florida Mayhem. Shanghai Dragons. They've just been scrimming, practicing as usual in their own training location. That's going to help them, I think. So I am worried that Florida Mayhem is going to underperform because they've had to, you know, travel, set up their new settings, play on maybe, you know, I don't know what to set up. Maybe, you know, there's some FPS problem or something. I don't know. So that's going to be interesting. I still think I have Florida Mayhem here in a... Yeah, I think that I have them in a 3-0 here. I think the only way they really lose a map here is if they get caught off by the Flera. Okay, let's give Shanghai Dragons one map. Let's say Shanghai Dragons win the one map playing Ash Echo Mercy. I really like Flera's Echo. Like, it's been so good this season, and when you have Lee Jagon poking at him, that's really good. I think Florida Mayhem will capitalize on it for most maps though, but I'm giving Shanghai Dragons one map, so 3-1 for Florida Mayhem. Not a big surprise. I think most people have this. Dallas Fuel Chengdu Hunters. The obvious argument here is that Dallas Fuel will play a lot of like the Reinhardt compositions on maps like Hybrid. Chengdu Hunters, they're going to punish this by playing Wrecking Ball, Zenyatta, Pharah, Echo, Ash even, I don't know, you name it. I will say that's very hard, especially with the tempo Dallas Fuel is playing. I think the win condition for Chengdu Hunters is actually forcing Zenyatta Wrecking Ball maps. I think that is their best composition, and I think that's going to help them this tournament. Keep in mind, Dallas Fuel, they're not going to play Reinhardt on all maps. They have Fearless on Winston. They've shown that they can play Tracer Sombra at a really high level. So I think that is definitely in their arsenal, Dallas Fuel, and they're going to play really well on all kinds of maps. But if Chengdu Hunters can force Dallas Fuel onto maps like Blizzard World, if they can force them onto maps like maybe Dorado. Dorado's a bit shaky because obviously Dallas Fuel, they can play Winston Zarya on there. But we've seen teams play Zenyatta there before. Those kind of maps, I think that's really good for the Chengdu Hunters. I'm also going to show you this one. Got another page for you. Showcasing Chengdu Hunters map statistics. Taking a look at these, you see that they have a 100% win rate on Assault, 80% on Control, and 80% on payload maps. So that's your escort. Really good. And obviously APAC region, I think there are some easier matchups there. But for the most part, this is really impressive. This essentially is just showing that Chengdu Hunters struggle on Hybrid, but then are really solid on payload, Control, and Assault. Now, context is important here, because obviously if they just beat bad teams, then that's going to just, you know, make this look better than it actually is. But I don't think you can ignore this. I think it's important information to take into account. So with that, I do think that Chengdu are good in a lot of matchups here. I am really tempted to go with the Chengdu Hunters upset here. I think people are, generally speaking, a bit too high on the Dallas Fuel. Obviously, Dallas Fuel, they 3-0 shock, they 3-0 Houston Outlaws, but they had a really good day. They surprised their opponents a lot. And so I think that they probably won't have as good days in the May Melee tournament. I think it's going to be more difficult for them. I don't think they're going to catch teams with as much of a surprise. And you know, you just gotta, like, when you play as fast as they do, and a lot of, like, it's just like feeling it out and just playing with pace and like everything's clicking, doesn't happen every day. It's harder than you might think. So I am tempted to go with the Chengdu Hunters upset here, though. I think ultimately Chengdu Hunters and Yara comps are going to be a little bit exposed, so I'm going to go with a Dallas Fuel 3-1 here. I'm really tempted to go with the Chengdu upset, but I do think that Dallas Fuel will find a way to navigate around it. We've seen them even play some Lucio Moira on Volskaya, of course, against the Houston Outlaws. So they're showing that they're not scared to just change things up on the fly, adapt, which are really good signs if you're the Dallas Fuel, because this is a team that's struggling to find like one comp they just like dominate that because of Sparkle and Doa. But if they can just get the better hero matchup, that's going to help them a lot. So I'm going Dallas Fuel 3-1 here. Shanghai Dragons, Chengdu Hunters. This one goes back to, I think that Shanghai Dragons had a good matchup against the Philadelphia Fusion. Don't think it's going to be as good of a matchup against the Chengdu Hunters. I think Chengdu Hunters dive has been really solid, both playing the Wrecking Ball and more recently they've been playing a lot of Winston too. I think the meta is shifting towards Winston Zarya, or if they want, they can play Wrecking Ball, Elson Sigma. And that also really works for the Chengdu Hunters. Would love to see some more far away. His Senora is sick. But yeah, I'm going with Chengdu Hunters in this one. And I'm gonna go with the Chengdu Hunters. Do I want to go with a 3-1? I'm worried that Shanghai Dragons are gonna take this to Reinhardt maps, because they did show against the Philadelphia Fusion that they're capable of doing it. I don't think it was good Reinhardt, but they were capable of doing it. So they could go there if they wanted to. It's also one of those scenarios where Dallas Fuel, they're competent in playing Ryan too, but they sometimes just opt for the Winston matchup. So against the Washington Justice, they're like, okay, we're not going to play Reinhardt. We're just going to play Winston. And I think Shanghai as well here, like, you could speculate about them playing Reinhardt, but ultimately I think they'll just be like, we'll just play Fate on Winston, and we'll play Flat Echo and have DM on the Ashe. But I think Chengdu Hunters are really good. I'm going with Chengdu Hunters. Fifth map would be Control. So essentially the question is, do I think Chengdu Hunters would win Assault? What actually are what are Shanghai Dragons map win rates? Do they have a game mode that they're really bad at? Okay, so they're 2-0 Temple of Anubis. And they're still really good on Control. They suck at Hybrid. It's going to be interesting then, because both teams are pretty bad at Hybrid. Like average on payload. So, okay. I think that plays in Chengdu Hunters' favor. I'm going to go over 3-1 here. Yeah, I'm going Chengdu Hunters 3-1. If it goes to 5th, I think Shanghai might win. Yeah, I'm going 3-1 here. Shanghai Dragons. Maybe they have some upset potential. If it goes to 5th, I could see them win. Playing Flare Echo on most maps. Interesting. Yeah, I got Chengdu Hunters winning that one. 3-1. Okay. Winners round 2. This is upper bracket finals, I guess. Florida Mayhem against Dallas Fuel. Do I think Florida Mayhem can stop the Dallas Fuel? It'll be so very hard. Florida Mayhem, they do have a hit scan player though. I think Fuel would have to up the pace quite a bit. Again, maybe like trying to dive. Can't let BQB get away with too much. This is a tough one. Both teams are kind of competent at Reinhardt. Florida Mayhem, people are high on their Reinhardt comps after beating the Washington Justice. I don't think you can take that into account too much. I think in general, Dallas Fuel Reinhardt play has been better. So Florida Mayhem are not going to have that one up on the Florida Mayhem. I think Dallas Fuel just play with such pace. They're going to play more of this Symmetra kind of style. And also, I think in their past matchups, like their May play has been pretty good as well. So I rate the Dallas Fuel in the Reinhardt maps. I probably think that they're better than Florida Mayhem here. I think they're just going to put a lot of pressure on OG. He's not going to be comfortable with it at all. And he's not going to get away with as much stuff like he did against the Washington Justice. If there's a win condition for Florida Mayhem, it could be playing more Sen comps, force the BQB Ash or McCree to be effective. You could even like play pretty reactively with a Winston Zarya composition and just be like, hey, we're just gonna protect our McCree and try to make it work. It's going to be tough for Dallas Fuel to find that answer in that case. But then again, Dallas Fuel, their Winston play is so good, so it's going to be hard. If Florida Mayhem plays this matchup correctly, like if they play the Zenyatta comps good, and if they can force Dallas Fuel like onto the Tracer, I think Yaki wins. Like Yaki is really good. Do I go with the Florida Mayhem win here? I think they're just so versatile in Dallas Fuel. And Dallas Fuel, I mean, they're really good, but not being able to play hit scan, I think this might be where the fun ends. Florida Mayhem is a really good team. Like their backline is really solid. BQB and Yaki both were playing really well past weekend. Having carrying moments. Like BQB's Ash on the Roto was sick. Gangnam Jin is really good. Yaki is gonna win beat Sparkle in that matchup. I think the only way Dallas Fuel win this is if they force the Symmetra comp and like try to play faster. Or if they just... Are they gonna force mistakes from Florida Mayhem? I'm worried about control. I think Dallas Fuel might win control maps with their Reinhardt comps. What's scary is like if Florida Mayhem takes one wrong step, then Dallas Fuel are going to punish them. You just force Ilios here before Mayhem? Probably. I feel like this matchup is going to be a banger. I think Florida Mayhem can play the double bubble comps in a way that Houston and Shock couldn't. Yeah, I'll go with the upset. I think this is going to be like one of the best matches of the season. I think I might go with a Florida Mayhem 3-2 here. Why am I betting against Fearless? Am I an idiot? Am I an idiot? Leave a comment down below. Do you think I'm an idiot? Why am I betting against Fearless? Everyone's going with Dallas Fuel. But I think I'm putting my faith in BKB, Yaki, and Gainamjin, I think. The fifth map is scary though. Because I think for the Mayhem they have the edge on Ilios, but if you have to go to Oasis, Nepal, Lijiang Tower, that's tough. That's tough, yeah. Wow, this is an incredible matchup. I love this. You know what? Screw it. I'll go for the Mayhem here. Screw it. Might look like a fool. Chengdu Hunters, Dallas Fuel rematch. Oh my god, this is going to be crazy as well. Are we going to see adaptations from Chengdu Hunters? Oh, this is crazy because these matchups are... Oh, they're not back to back. Dallas Fuel will be like have time to recover, and then Chengdu Hunters would play against Shanghai Dragons, and then Chengdu would have to play again. I wonder if like they will be in the mode, like in the zone, or if Dallas Fuel will be out of it. I mean, I'm trying to picture in my head like how the tournament would go, like the storylines, and like, you know, picture the emotions and stuff like that. Like, I think losing this one would be like very heartbreaking for the Dallas Fuel. So I wonder if that would affect them in their later matchup.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Wow, it would be crazy if Chengdu Hunters just beat them in the rematch. And Chengdu Hunters were just like on a high. I think the map pool argument is too good though. It would be too hard for Chengdu Hunters to pull it off. God, they're so good though. Like Nisha has been incredible, Monk has been incredible, Gaga's really good. Leave and Jimmy though, like Jimmy leaves some to be desired. God, I would look like such a fool here. Again, the control maps are probably in Dallas Fuel's favor. God, my bracket is so bad. I think Dallas Fuel could get boomed here though. Like, I feel like there's boom potential here. Like, if you lose against the Florida Mayhem in a really close, like, super matchup, And then Chengdu Hunters win this one and they're like on a high. Oh my god, this would be so sick. Like just another like incredibly long matchup. And keep in mind, it would be like 11 p.m. or something in Hawaii. Like Dallas Fuel players would be so tired. Time so like maybe they're like jet lagged as well. It'd be like what? Like midnight in Dallas? No, wait, it's earlier. Wow, that's how time zones work, huh? So it'd be like 7 p.m. Why are you taking predictions from me? Hey, I did go. Hey, I went 14 and 14 last week. I need to give myself some more credit. I went 14 and 14 in my first week of doing videos like this. I need to give myself some more credit. I did good last week. Maybe I'll do less good this time around. You know what? You know what? I'm going with the Chengdu Hunters. 3-2. I can't believe I'm doing this. This is so crazy. I'm an idiot. Oh my god. I am boomed. We haven't even started the matches and I'm boomed already. What would the grand finals look like then? No, wait, what am I doing over here? Dallas Fuel can just play Ryan. What are Shane going through? What are they going to do on Havana? What are they going to do on Havana or King's Row and Eichenwald? But what if Dallas Fuel just like ego duel them in like the Winston matchup? No. Oh my god, I'm such a moron. Oh my god, I'm such an absolute idiot. Oh, this feels so dumb. Oh no. Why am I doing this to myself? Dallas Fuel losing in 2. Oh no. Why am I doing this to myself? This feels really dumb. Well, let's just do the grand finals and I'll submit this. Oh my god, I can't wait to look like a fool. I think that the Dallas Fuel is just the obvious choice. So like the easy choice, if you just want easy clout, is to just predict the Dallas Fuel, post it on Twitter, and then be like, Omega lol, that was so easy. Everyone could have seen this coming. And if you lose, you're just like, well, they were the favorites. No big loss. It was the favorites. I'm actually going out on a limb here. I'm actually trying some stuff. I'm actually trying to logically think through these matchups and not just pred the favorites. That's boring. We don't want that. No, we want some shaky preds. We want this to work out. I got 14 or 14 last week. This could go to absolute SHIT, but it's fun, innit? Yeah. I mean, I'm second in the other leaderboard, the talent leaderboard. Okay, well, I'm 41-24 overall. Well, I had a tough week 1. Don't be too hard on me. See, I'm second. I'm second after Achilleos. That's not bad. Cost us 73 points. I'm at 83 points. It's pretty bad. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We take this. Florida Mayhem, Chengdu Hunters. I think Florida Mayhem win this one. I think they just like they're powered up, good to go. Yeah, I think they're the better Winston Sara team. But also, I mean, Dallas Fuel is the better Winston Sara team too, right? So why am I going them over the Hunters? Okay, that matchup is beyond us. That matchup is beyond us. It's done. It cannot be changed, Malding listeners. I should be more audio friendly. I should talk about the results. Grand final, Florida Mayhem, Chengdu Hunters. I feel like Florida Mayhem, they're the better Winston Zarya team. They're very versatile. They've figured out their style. They're better in Reinhardt than Chengdu Hunters, so they got the map pool advantage. I feel like the only way Chengdu wins this if they force, like, I don't know, like far away Sen, which they're not really gonna do because Monk can play both the Ana and the Sen for them. Yeah, I just think Florida Mayhem is the better team overall. And I think the win condition for Chengdu Hunters is just like... I don't think Jimmy is going to win the hit scan duel against BQB. I don't think you can sub in Jinmu here. I think that's too volatile. Unless you want to go like hyper aggro. Leave might battle it out against Yaki, but the backline is really good for Chengdu Hunters. I think that Nisha and Monk could win this for Chengdu Hunters. Like punish Yaki and OG. They could probably punish OG pretty hard. I think Gargle is the better off tank between him and Elsa. This could also just be an easy 3-1 for Dallas Fuel, by the way. The winner's bracket matchup. I need to stop going back. It is done, Johnny. Leave it behind. Pred the future. Not the future past. So I don't think Chengdu Hunters is a win condition. I'll give Chengdu Hunters one map. I think this is going to be a pretty good stomp. I think we're going to be cursed with the bad grand finals. Wow, are we just gonna leave it at this? I don't like this bracket at all. I don't feel good about it. I'm going with some real shaky stuff here, but I feel like it's done. So let's go through it quickly. Let's recap. Shanghai Dragons, Florida Mayhem, the first matchup. Florida Mayhem, I think they're the better team straight up. I think Shanghai Dragons, they might even get 3-0 here. I don't think they're that good, actually. I think they had a good matchup against the Philadelphia Fusion. Dallas Fuel against the Chengdu Hunters. I think in this initial matchup, Chengdu Hunters are going to get caught off guard a little bit playing against the Dallas Fuel. Dallas Fuel plays at a very high pace. They play some special stuff. Obviously, they play a lot of... they don't play McCree comps. So, you know, that's hard to get accustomed to. I think Dallas Fuel are going to come out strong, just go, play aggressive. I think Chengdu Hunters are going to get caught off guard. I think Dallas Fuel has a better map pool advantage, can play a lot of Reinhardt comps, etc. So I got a 3-1 there. Winners bracket matchup, Florida Mayhem, Dallas Fuel. I got Florida Mayhem winning this on 3-2. Both are pretty good Reinhardt teams, so I think the map pool argument is a bit neutralized. I think that Florida Mayhem has added versatility, being able to play the hit scan. BQB is fantastic. He's been so good on the Asher McCree. So I think that's a win condition for the Florida Mayhem. Gangnam Jin is superb on both the Sen and the Ana. Gargoyle's really good. The weak point here would be OG if Dallas Fuel play a lot of like Symmetra Reinhardt comps and they break OG's shield, making him uncomfortable. The worst thing that could happen for Florida Mayhem is that if they get scared, if they're hesitant, and OG gets uncomfortable. Like with the Shock matchup. When Florida Mayhem got 3-0'd, they were just like caught off guard by Shock's intensity. That's what could be really bad for Florida Mayhem. And that's where I could see Dallas Fuel just like 3-0ing the Florida Mayhem. Honestly. I think Florida Mayhem should force Dallas Fuel onto Ilios, win that way. A lot of good levels there. You can win by hero picks. So yeah, I got Florida Mayhem beating the Dallas Fuel 3-2, which I'm a bit iffy about, because the fifth map is going to be Control. And I feel like if Ilios is not in the pool, well then Dallas Fuel, they get Lijiang Tower, you know, Oasis, Nepal even. Like they got a lot of good Reinhardt maps there where they can just play aggressive and just like end it. Like, it's nice on 5th map, like when you're playing tournament matches and it comes down to clutch time, if you just play a comp that's just like go in. Like, there's not much thinking going into it. Hey, we're gonna play the Reinhardt comp, we're gonna put we're gonna play Symmetra and we're just gonna go. Like, that's such a relief when you play very intense clutch matchups. It's a bit easier than like playing Winston and just like think about positioning, you know, when you're the adrenaline is pumping, you're sweating, and you're like, well, how do I position and rotate around the map as Winston? It's like, it's, you know, it's, but maybe that's my, you know, me stuck in my old past. Anyway, I got Florida Mayhem beating Dallas Fuel 3-2 because I think their versatility is so good. They can play so many different stuff, and they're smart. Lower bracket: Shanghai Dragons, Chengdu Hunters. Chengdu Hunters beating Shanghai Dragons 3-1. I think Chengdu Hunters are the better team. Again, same as against the Florida Mayhem. I think Shanghai Dragons, I don't think they're up there. I think best case scenario, they do really well playing like Flare on Echo, Fate on Winston, and the Echo Mercy combination as well with Lips McCree or DM's Ash. Honestly, Lip McCree is really underrated. I'm surprised they don't play more Lip McCree. They should do that. It's really good. That could honestly be a win condition for them. And that might... If Shanghai Dragons wins matchups, it's probably going to be because Lip has a good McCree. That's all take. It's probably not, though. So I got Chengdu Hunters beating Shanghai Dragons 3-1. Next round in the lower bracket, I got Chengdu Hunters rematch against the Dallas Fuel. And this is interesting because this all happens on the same day. So Fuel has lost to the Mayhem on Friday. I think they're going to be a bit disappointed after that one. They're, you know, gonna go eat, have a bit of a break, all that kind of stuff. Who knows if they're gonna be in like good mental state going into the next matchup. Chengdu Hunters, they're coming off a win against the Shanghai Dragons. They're gonna be pumped, ready to go, feeling good. Dallas Fuel, will they be ready to go again? That's going to be the question. Is it going to be their day again? Don't think it's going to be as easy as it was in the knockout rounds. With that in mind, I got Chengdu Hunters coming out early, you know, maybe stunning the Dallas Fuel a little bit. I think Chengdu Hunters is still a good team. They can play the hit scan. Their backline has been really good. Nisha and Monk, I think that's good for the Chengdu Hunters, especially when you're playing against a fast team like the Dallas Fuel. I think Dallas Fuel obviously have the map pool advantage here because they can force Chengdu Hunters onto Rhine maps like Havana, Eichenwalde, Kings Row, and that's going to be good for them. But Chengdu Hunters, they're able to adapt from their match prior in the week, the day before. I think that's going to help them adapt and play those maps a little bit better. Maybe make some hero swaps that make it easier for them and just feel better about going into those maps. It's way easier to, you know, have a day to think things through rather than just adapting on the fly. So Chengdu Hunters, I think they'll adapt a bit better, have a better matchup. And I think ultimately they're going for the upset. The upset win against the Dallas Fuel. There it is. I don't think anyone else is doing this because they're smart and I'm not. Grand Finals, Florida Mayhem against the Chengdu Hunters. I think it's going to be lopsided. I think Florida Mayhem is a better team on almost all compositions. So regardless what kind of Winston comp we see, I think Florida Mayhem is better. Chengdu Hunters, I think their win condition is probably playing Gaga Wrecking Ball and putting Monkor far away on the Zenyatta and just playing long range. But even with that, I think Florida Mayhem has the map pool advantage. They can play Reinhardt comps, they can force Chengdu into some uncomfortable stuff. And I think they're going to be more composed than Dallas Fuel the day before. So overall, pretty happy with this bracket. I think it's a pretty reasonable bracket. I think Chengdu Hunters, Dallas Fuel, that's the only upset matchup really. That's one upset in 6 matches. And I think that's pretty reasonable. It looks wonky, you know, in the end. But I don't think it's out of this world. So fun bracket anyway. It's going to be fun to follow this one. I could be totally wrong. Would not be surprised to see like 5 matches wrong. But that's how it goes. Grand Finals. Florida Mayhem wins it. They win the May Melee. Good for them. Anyway, this has been my second edition of predictions, pick'ems with Reinforce. I need to just look at this page to make myself feel better. Oh my god, I'm boomed. At least, yeah, 17 points, 21 points. Oh yes, produce the happy chemicals, please, brain. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. I plan on recording more of these. I really enjoy doing these. I'm having a lot of fun doing these, so I'll upload more of them. Please subscribe to the channel. Like the video. That helps me out a lot. Leave a comment down below with what matchups I got wrong. and what matchups I got right. And I'll see you guys next week. I won't see you guys next week because next week there won't be any matches, but the week after, then there'll be more matches. So maybe I'll do a recap video next week. We can do that. How about that, huh? Stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel. I'm out. See you guys next time.